Welcome back to the show, everybody. Joining us right now is Effy. What's up, Effy?
Hey, thanks for having me on the show. This is awesome. I'm glad we're chatting. I saw you were talking to Pollo Del Mar the other day, and she was talking about me, so now we're here.
Yeah, man. It's good to have you, man.
There is that side of people going, well, why do you have to draw so much attention to that part of yourself? You know, there are plenty of wrestlers who aren't making their Catholicism their whole belief, or making their race their whole belief. And what I'm believing in right now is like, we're still at a point where we need to let these people know that they can be comfortable themselves, and that there is representation of, yeah, you may be a gay person, but you don't have to be an Effy gay person. You might be a Pero gay person, and all of those things are valid. So for us, putting that outward brand on, hey, you're safe here and we are these people and we fit this category, and then getting to the actual product where we like to push is saying, you may categorize us as this, you may be here because we are this, but at the core, we're still pro wrestlers and we are still telling pro wrestling stories and we are still trained professionals. And I think that's where people go, you know what, they may bring this part into it, but it's opening a world where people are actually seeing pro wrestling that they may not have ever taken the chance on.
Yeah. You know, all this is making me just think about like how it used to be. Like when I was a kid, like they might have a character, you know, like an Adrian Street, for instance,
right,
and who wasn't even really gay, but like
was an excellent worker and knew that heat angle. And not to cut you off, but I've kind of like I thought about this because the national perception during those times was more skewed to homophobia and transphobia and people not being as educated even on things like racial issues, and having characters that were more, here's the Black Savage and here's these Black people doing, you know, more hokey minstrel things. It sold tickets at those times, and promoters were trying to sell tickets. What we're looking at now is there seems to be a shift. And while there are a lot of people in our country that don't necessarily want to see LGBTQ people pushed in their face or succeed in front of them or be themselves in that way, there are a ton of people who want to sell tickets. So at the core of wrestling being a capitalist endeavor, we are shifting with the American audience faster than most of these big corporate companies are able to. And I think they sometimes get a little uncomfortable with, hey, we can have the representation, but if we go too far, we don't want that scandal involved with us accidentally doing something we shouldn't. They don't always take the talent's thoughts into accordance. They're sort of, hey, we've done this a long time. We've been a part of this industry a long time. We're not going to take that risk. You're here already. Let's not push it too far. What
would be an example of pushing it too far? Like,
I mean, listen, I'm a person who is an R-rated creator, and you know, when Pero cut a promo, you know, thank God we had Mick Foley able to cut a promo to open the show and really got a little political and get into it. But from Pero's point of view, he wanted to make sure we're pushing an LGBTQ storyline that is aggressive. And his last line was, you know, he's talking about, I'm not these straight guys that want your clout or want your overness or want a match just to get over. I'm a homosexual. I'm a homo man, and I'm going to murder you. And that's an aggressive way of saying, hey, you got into my business and you're saying a lot of things that are disrespectful to me as a man. And I don't care what you think about me. I am a gay man, but I have the capability to do this. Yeah. I got to tell you this, though. I think back. I cut a promo right before the original Effy's Big Gay Brunch was supposed to happen, which is a Tampa show. It was alongside WrestleMania last year before COVID. And I cut a promo that said, hey, I want everyone to come to my show. I want you to have fun. But if you do anything homophobic or transphobic, or you're there just to mess with people, I'm going to take you out in the streets and bleed you out. And
right on.
Because of that, we got 3 domestic terrorist threats to the venue. Obviously, the show didn't happen. I can speak on this now because it's already passed, but I had a detective come to me and say, look, we're not concerned about your statement. Your statement is technically in character. I said, even though I meant every word, he said, you're promoting it as Effy in character. But when people come to us and say, we're going to shoot Effy in the ring, these are real things. We're going to bomb people there. We're going to kill as many people as we can. I've now got to work at a level with security and at a different place just to make sure our show can happen, because I got over the line and I made someone mad enough to say, well, if you're not going to let us come be homophobic, or you're going to threaten us if we're homophobic, we're going to kill you if you have your performance.
So would you have done it? Would you regret pushing it that far with what you said?
No, absolutely not. And I sort of said again, if you come to me, I had a situation the other day, 2021. I'm not used to it. I'm on a lot of gay shows.
Yeah.
A guy used the F-bomb, called it to me in the ring, said, look at this F-bomb. And
somebody you were working with?
No, somebody who had paid to be in the front row of the show. And I took whatever was going on and looked at the man in the eyes, and I said, I hope you brought a gun, because I'm going to kill you if I get my hands on you. And as I calmed down and won the match, I had a real scream at him after the match and really explained and said, you don't know what you're messing with. You don't know what consequences you're going to face, because these people don't always feel consequence from this. They think they're punching down. They think they're punching at a lesser being by using these terms. When that consequence hits them, it messes them up. But I caught myself enough. I said, I made a scene. I did not enact violence. And we ended up having a teaching moment. But am I responsible for having a teaching moment with everyone who attacks me with hate? I've sort of set up the line of, hey, I love the 70s and 80s and Mid-South and Jim Crockett and these old school dirty arenas. If you want to come at me, I'm going to come show you that it's real. And I need people to understand that, like, we've passed that point. If that's coming at me, we're going for it. So we have to kind of have that steadfastness.
Right on. And I think a lot of straight men have this. Well, I don't think, I know this idea in their head that, like, if you're a gay man, that you can't take care of yourself, that you can't throw, you know?
I'll even go further than that. You're in Vegas, Sean, or you've lived in Vegas? You're in LA. Okay. Yeah. You've been in Vegas though before. Yeah. So you're familiar with maybe the Fremont Street area. There was a show that went on in Vegas recently, an independent show. And one of my good friends is a professional wrestler named Dark Sheik. And Dark Sheik is a trans woman from Iran. She started Hood Slam with the Stoner Brothers. Has done a lot for wrestling. Yeah. Someone came up and was attempting to be homophobic, was attempting to be transphobic. And without even really putting in words, there was a shoot STO to the ground. There was a stomp to the fella, a picture of who was being transphobic, and a have a nice day, because she is at the point where she goes, I'm a professional athlete and a professional fighter. If you want to come at me with that kind of base level idiotic, you know, you're better than that BS, it's straight to hands. And I think there's something really magical about that, where we've sanitized a lot of what wrestling superstars look like. And to know that, like, if you're going to come with hatefulness to these people, they are ready to show you that old school mentality of, we're protecting our business too, baby.
Kind of breaking that stigma that you guys are talking about. Dude, you're doing some crazy shit right now, Effy. Like, I saw the G-Raver spot where he's like rubbing like salt and vinegar chips into your back while you're like falling through glass. I mean, you know, why you don't need to be doing this stuff. I know you're very tough in the ring. Why are you going out right now? Yeah.
So I want to kind of just key back a little, because I think these two things go hand in hand, which is, as I think about the answer I just gave you, Sean, I go, well, people are going to think I'm coming across as aggressive. But if you interact with me at a show, or you see me at a show, and I think Nick has been there to sort of see it, I want to protect these people who feel comfortable enough finally coming to wrestling. And there are so many people who come and go, you know, this means a lot that we're allowed to be here. This means a lot that this is happening. And so I feel like I've got to stand on the outside of that and put up those guardrails. And I also feel in the same sense as, hey, a lot of people are looking at Effy. A lot of people are looking at him as a community leader. I want to be a utility person who can operate on all levels. A promoter said to me the other day, hey, you're a lot easier to find a match for than so-and-so. And so as you say, look, hey, Effy, you don't need to be doing the death matches all the time. You don't need to be doing this. You're entirely correct. But when I do go to these levels and do these things, and if I am going into that world, whether it be death match or technical wrestling or whatever the call is, I want to do it at the highest level possible. And I don't want people to finish up and go, well, yeah, he did a death match, or he was a part of the tournament, but it was just the little Effy version, or he was just the gay boy, you know, that was a token there. I want guys to walk back. And I had a conversation with Sick Nick Mondo, who retired 20 years ago, is still looked at as the highest level of deathmatch. And he said, you really added something special just with your creativity, not because you're a gay guy, not because of this, but just because you were operating on a creative level. And it's like, I want to always come with that, because I feel like we owe it back to the people who are really sticking with us in crazy times in wrestling and really taking a risk, even existing and coming to me. It's I don't know. I feel like a mother hen sometimes, but you got to do it.